Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. It's your boy, George Reister in the building. Thank you guys for joining me today. First of all, before we even get started today, I missed last week on time right after the games. Today, I am out of the country. It is 6:51 in the AM. I stayed up just to make sure to make this happen. You guys make sure to send in all your comments. I will get to them, and send in all your questions or whatever to I'm mad at unafraidshow.com, and I will get to them. Make sure you share the feed. Tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. So we're going to get to the college football top 10 today. We are going to get to the Pac-12 Pac-12 recap, and also what in God's name is going on with the Oregon Ducks right now. And stop trying to blame it on the white uniforms being cursed. It is not the uniforms. The uniforms don't make you win or lose. The team makes you win or lose. So we're gonna get started today. Some reactions from the games today. Alabama had their first test today. Tua Tagovailoa could be hurt. That knee keeps acting up. I'm telling you, they could be on the verge of what happened to Oregon with Dennis Dixon. He's getting ready to win the Heisman. They're getting ready to win the national championship. And then everything goes to hell with a knee injury. It can happen that fast. Alabama did not play all that well today, but they won. So, and oh my God, Pac-12 referees are just horrendous. Like every single week, they're horrendous. Like it's so frustrating. Bad calls, bad targeting in the UCLA game, in the Washington State game. I mean, it's just bad. Like, it's bad for the league. When you have other people from other conferences watching games, and they're like, damn, this is horrendous, then you already know. But this is the Unafraid Show Top 10 College Football Rankings after Week 12. The Unafraid Show rankings are based upon three things. They are based upon three things, unlike some of the other biased rankings. They are based upon your schedule that you've played, your quality wins, and your dominance. That's how you get in the Unafraid Show Top 10. And if you don't display those things, then you're not going to be in there. And if you look at the top 10, the Unafraid Show Top 10, throughout the entire season, I have been spot on. People have been upset. They've had their feelings hurt. Oh, this is terrible. This is stupid. And then at the end, they're like, well, shit. I guess he was right. Duh. Always right or never wrong. And before I give you the rankings, remember, they're not going to reflect the same thing as the AP poll or the College Football Playoff Committee because they're not biased. No BS, unbiased. That's how we roll. Number one, the same team that was number one last week, Alabama. They are the beneficiary of some good calls, boy. The officials helped them out so much sometimes, but still, they dominated. They didn't allow a point, even though they should have allowed some. The referees took them away. But Alabama just, unless they go to sleep at the wheel or Tua Tagovailoa gets hurt, they are going to win. They're going to make it to the college football playoff. Number two, Clemson. They're 10-0. They were number 2 last week. So many similarities between Alabama and Clemson that it is scary. They are on a collision course in the Pac-12. I'm sorry, in the national championship. On a collision course. But I think I have a team that may be there to spoil the entire party. And I think that team is sitting at number 4 in the rankings. But first, number 3, Notre Dame. Notre Dame got a big win today. They demolished Florida State. Dude, it is embarrassing watching Florida State. Like, I almost feel bad for Willie Taggart at this point in time, how bad things are going at Florida State. He's got to win the next 2 games to get to a bowl game. And one of them's against Florida. And Florida's way better than them. Wow. Blow the bowl streak on your first year there? Oh, God. Terrible. But Notre Dame won without Ian Book at quarterback. They had Brandon Wimbush back there again today. And I'm going to tell you, if they bring Brandon Wimbush against Syracuse this week or and then USC next week, they're going to drop one of those games. Because chaos happens every single season in the top 10, the top 4, who's going to get in. November, chaos happens, and this year it is going to happen again. And I think that Notre Dame is going to be the team that ends up being screwed in the situation. Number 4, we got Michigan. Michigan is number 4. This team is not explosive offensively. But the thing I like about Michigan is that they just lean on you. They don't make mistakes. Their defense just strangles you. I mean, it strangles the life out of offenses because they make you earn every single yard. But a lot of times teams aren't willing to try big plays against them, go up top, but their DBs hold up. So you got to give them credit. And they just lean on you. They don't make mistakes, don't make penalties, and then you eventually break. So you got to give Michigan credit for that, and that's why they're number 4. But I have heard some people talking about that Michigan should be ahead of Notre Dame. How? Notre Dame beat Michigan. I understand Michigan looks all fun and dandy right now, but they beat them, and Notre Dame hasn't lost. So how can you say that Michigan's better than Notre Dame? I cannot do that at this point in time. Number 5, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I put out a tweet earlier today, and some of you guys are drunk, apparently, because the tweet I put out said, how many points do you think Oklahoma would score against Alabama? Because, mind you, Oklahoma has the best offense in the country. They've only scored under 40 points twice this season. And one of them was 37 points, and another was 28 points against Navy when they had the ball for 3 full quarters. This offense cannot be stopped by anybody. No way. They had 702 yards this week. I want to see Oklahoma play Alabama. And some of you people out there who responded to the poll, which is on my Twitter right now, at George Reister, had the audacity to say that Alabama could hold this team under 20 points. What? Man, get out of here. Number 6, Georgia. Georgia has run for over 300 yards the last 2 games. This is a good football team. I slighted them early in the season because they deserved it. They hadn't played anybody. But now Georgia is looking like a good football team. They're playing well, and you got to give them credit where they are due. Yes, Dustin, FSU is a dumpster fire. You do have to give them credit where credit is due. But Georgia's Achilles heel this year is going to be when they get their running game stopped and Jake Fromm has to throw the ball, because they won't do it. You guys are watching the Unafraid Show, listening to the Unafraid Show, college football top 10 after week 12. We're at number 6 right now. Make sure you swipe up, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. Number 7, Washington State. The committee has LSU at this point. Why on earth would I do that? Why on earth would I do that? Makes no sense. LSU barely beat Arkansas by 7 points. They didn't score a point against Alabama. Why would they be in my top 10 right now with 2 losses? Sorry, no. Washington State at number 7. Gardner Minshew is lining up himself to get some of like the Davey O'Brien, Peyton Manning, Johnny Unitas awards for passing, because he's throwing for almost 400 yards a game, lighting it up, doing a great job. And the Washington State defense is completely underrated. By far one of the most, everybody thinks that this is like flash and dash, but it's not. Number 8. And then you guys also share the Unafraid Show with a friend. The Pac-12 recap is coming up next. 8, West Virginia. They're still doing great, and they have turned it on, playing well toward the end of the season. This is a team that's peaking at the right time. But my only question is, because the committee likes to slight everybody who's not in the SEC. They had a game canceled against NC State in the beginning of the year because of the hurricane. So they're going to end up with one less win if they win the Big 12. They'll finish 11-1 instead of 12-1 like everybody else. I still got Central Florida at number 9 because Ohio State's not looking good. Who's at number 10? Central Florida has no chance of getting in the playoff. They have no chance of getting in my top 4 because they have not just been dominant. But this week, they stepped it up, pulled a few more points on the board, and tried to make a statement because they heard the criticism. But too little, too late. Somebody said, can I explain how Utah is ranked? Because Utah had been playing really, really well. 10, Ohio State. Then next up after that, I got LSU, Syracuse, NC State, Florida, and Texas. Now we're going to get to the Pac-12. You guys swipe up, share the feed, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. We are going to get to the Pac-12 right now, and we're going to get to the state of the Oregon Ducks. What the hell is going on? And until then, I answer your questions. You guys make sure you send your questions in. I will get to them. Who would you take on a neutral site, Utah or Purdue? Whew. This is tough because Utah's without their quarterback and they're without their running back. So as of right now, I would have to take. But Purdue's not playing good football. Oh man, I got 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, and I think I'm gonna take Utah just because their defense is better. But the Pac-12 wrap up today. There weren't any major surprises in the Pac-12 because I knew the game that just went off, the Pac-12 after dark game, USC and Cal. This game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I know I'm an Oregon Duck, and I think that Jim Leavitt is a really good defensive coordinator. But here is the thing. Here is the thing about Cal. Because I tweeted out, I said that Cal has the best defense, the best coached defense in the Pac-12. The proof is in the pudding. They're playing with no 4- and 5-star guys. Probably no NFL guys in the secondary. They have a linebacker that looks like a D tackle, number 89. And they find a way to shut down everybody's offense, well, except for UCLA pretty much. As long as Cal's not turning the ball over, they are tough and competitive in every single game. Their defense is relentless. You have to like the way what Justin Wilcox is doing at Cal. And the best thing that Cal did today, they stopped shuffling their quarterbacks in. They kept Brandon McElwain on the bench where he needs to be. He's Khalil Tate 1.0. Khalil Tate is Khalil Tate 2.0. Brandon McElwain, their sophomore, he's electric running the ball, but the kid is a turnover machine. He cannot be trusted to make good decisions with the football. He just can't. And Chase Garbers, athletic enough to run the football, extended plays, played well. Cal won the football game. It's a simple recipe. You don't have to be Jared Goff or Aaron Rodgers back there for Cal. You just have to not turn the ball over for these dudes right now. And Cal is going to be a scary team going forward because Justin Wilcox and the whole crew are going to be able to recruit better. You win big games like this against USC, and it only points out the glaring deficiencies in USC's team. Because there's so many people that point to USC's there's so many people that point to USC's injuries. They've had 39 games missed by starters this year, all of that. Yeah, that is a big deal. But USC's got depth everywhere. They put together these top recruiting classes every year. There are no excuses. And I'll tell you this, there are no Pac-12 coaches that want Clay Helton fired unless they want their job. I mean, no Pac-12 coaches want Clay Helton fired because they want to keep playing against Clay Helton. Because here is what I know, is that as long as you have top-tier talent, guys who are athletically superior to other guys at other schools, if they're not turning out to be pros and they're not developing so much, then that's a coaching issue. That's a coaching issue. I'm going to get to the next game, UCLA. UCLA had a chance today against Arizona State. They lost 28-31. Oh, they had the ball with like almost 2 minutes left and squandered an opportunity. Just penalty. I mean, it was just disgusting. I mean, Chip Kelly has this UCLA team going in the right direction. They are playing well. They're still, I mean, they're playing, I think they're the second youngest team in the entire nation. Starting so many true freshmen, playing so many true freshmen. Like, this is a team that's moving in the right direction. And they don't even have their star quarterback, the Dorian Thompson-Robinson, in full-time because he's been hurt. I mean, and it's just been a dumpster fire in the Pac-12 South because UCLA still had a chance to win the Pac-12 South, and they would have finished 5-7 had they gone undefeated. That's crazy. But Arizona State, you have to give them credit. They're now bowl eligible. They are 6-4 in Herm Edwards' first season. Oh, everybody thought Arizona State was crazy for hiring for hiring the old man. But guess what? He's crazy like a fox. Crazy like a fox, man. You have to give Herm Edwards credit. Manny Wilkins played well today and on his senior day. And N'Keal Harry, it might as well be his senior day because he will not be going back to school. Promise you that. Will not be going back to Arizona State. But Arizona State is in control of their own destiny. They're going to need Oregon. Well, they play Oregon next week. They got to get that game if they want to have a shot at winning the Pac-12 South. But I'm going to tell you, I don't like Arizona State in that game only because it's played in Eugene. And the Oregon Ducks can't travel on the road and play football for some reason. And so many people were upset. I'll get to the Ducks in just a second. I'm going to move on to Washington State and Colorado. I told y'all, if you've been reading the Pac-12 Power Rankings on unafraidshow.com every Wednesday when they come out, you would have known that since like week 3, I've been saying something special is brewing in Pullman. Mike Leach has something incredible going this year. Like Tyler Helinski, his suicide, the Angels watching him. I don't know what it is, but this team has got something ridiculous going in Pullman. They the committee slighted them last week because they had a tough game against Cal. But people this is where the East Coast bias comes in. They don't realize that Cal has one of the top 5 pass defenses in the entire country. They will smother you. I mean, think about that. Cal, with their talent, can smother Washington State. But USC, Oregon, UCLA, anybody with superior talent cannot stop them. Come on now. Come on in. You got to be able to admit the truth. Colorado is exactly where I thought they would be. They started out 5-0. I told everybody I didn't believe in them. Then they played USC. They got beat up, and they've lost 5 games straight. And Mike McIntyre is going to be out of a job. I mean, I don't know how they retain him. He's only had 1 winning season in like 7 years, 6 or 7 years. Only won more than 5 games like once. Got to get results. Got to get results. They even had Laviska Shenault back today. Their All-American wide receiver. Nada. Because Washington State's defense is for real. You cannot deny them. The only game in the Pac-12 I did not watch today because I knew what was going to happen was Oregon State and Stanford. 48-17. I just looked at the box score. I mean, it was just a blowout. It was a blowout from the beginning. Interestingly enough, though, Stanford had their best rushing output of the day, of the season. Bryce Love didn't get over 100 yards, but the team rushed for 244 yards. Granted, They were playing Oregon State, who has the worst rushing defense, I think, maybe in college football. USC even went for 300 yards last week. So, that's what it is. And the Beavers stink. However, they do get Oregon on the road. Oregon's got to travel to Corvallis. And, oh, my God, Oregon's game is not traveling right now well at all. You guys send in your questions. I will get to them before I go into the Ducks. And, do I think Washington State is going to make the college football playoff? Maybe. They're going to need a little bit of help. They are. Because the committee is not giving them credit. They're going to keep LSU ahead of them, apparently, and whoever else. So I do think that the top four are going to end up being, here's my personal belief at this point, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game. That's what I got at this point in time until something, tells me different. Okay, now it's time to get into the Ducks. So all you Duck fans, send a message to your Duck friends. Tell them we're going to get into the Ducks now. So, okay. I really everybody knows I'm Ducks through and through. But I'm not Homer guy. I'm the guy you're going to come to see to get the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Gotta be honest. I mean, otherwise you can go listen to some other show if you want to be sugarcoated. If you want some BS, then that's where you need to go because I'm not your guy. Okay. So here's a couple things. It's actually pretty fantastic how Oregon's offense has devolved from the Stanford game, Cal game, Washington game, and then it's been non-existent Washington State, Arizona, and even UCLA. No, George, but they scored 42 points against UCLA. I wrote it in the Pac-12 Power Rankings. I said it on the show last week. Oregon's offense against UCLA was not good against UCLA. It was not. There was 0 times that the Ducks received the football, whether it was via punt or via kickoff, that they went down and scored. With that, however, there's a little caveat because they did do a fake punt. I'm sorry, fake field goal. They did get the ball back on defense, very close and score. So I'm not giving you credit for that. Yes, you're supposed to score in those situations on short fields. But your offense is not moving. It's not moving at all. And it is frustrating because there's a difference between being a young team and being an inexperienced team because the Ducks are pretty young. I think they are only playing 3 seniors. But when you go get embarrassed in the first half like you do against Washington State, and then Arizona, and then come back against Utah with a backup running back. They lost a 1,000-yard running back, and they lost their quarterback Tyler Huntley. Let me explain to you who their quarterback Shelley is, who you just saw today. Huntley is not a good passer. He's marginal. So if this guy is playing behind him, and you saw the passes he was throwing, he had trouble hitting wide open receivers. It's troubling. It's troubling because at that point in time, you feel like you got out schemed a little bit. And here's the truth about the Ducks. I know some of the players, all this stuff, so some of them may get upset about this, but you came here for the truth. Oregon 1-15. They're the best player on the team to the 15th player on the team. above average, way above average. Got a bunch of pros in the mix. You got Jelks, you got Hollins, you got Herbert, you got Penei Sewell, you got Fat Mac, you got a bunch of guys in there, Dylan Mitchell, bunch of guys, Troy Dye, bunch of guys who are NFL caliber guys. So your top 15 is legit. 16 through 44 in terms of starters. Actually, I'll go 45 because I'm including the punter in that. I'm sorry, I'm including the kicker in that, Adam Stack. Is below average. It is. Like the Ducks need more depth. And then when you add in the injuries, particularly at the linebacker position, the offensive line, it's been tough because everybody points to the Ducks running game. Oh, is it the pistol? Is it this? Is it that? There are two issues with the Ducks running game. Number one is they have too many free runners just running through. Like if you notice, the backs at least 4 or 5 times a game are getting hit by 2 people at the same time in the backfield. That's a player problem and that's a scheme problem. Because if you're having trouble keeping your running backs clean, that means that you have to change your blocking scheme. Because there is some scheme that works. Because if Cal can run the ball with Laird, who's not fast, who's not special, he's a decent back, then you can run it. Then you can find a way to run it. You have to find a way to scheme better at this point in time. And then the second problem is Oregon's play action. Oregon's play action passes. I'll address that now. You old Matthews. The RBs are not that talented, and the pistol is a losing scheme. I think that CJ Verdale is talented. I think that Tony Brooks James is talented, and I think that Troy Dye is talented as well. But Verdale and Dye have the same issue. They're both super young. They run hard. They miss some cuts every now and then, but I mean that's to be expected with young backs. I was gonna say the second problem with the running game is the play action, because the play action out of the pistol for some reason is not drawing the linebackers up, and that has to be a play problem. Because if you notice that when other teams play action against the Ducks, linebackers are getting sucked all the way into the line, and then they're able to throw in little windows behind them. You saw it today with the Shelley kid. You saw it with Khalil Tate at Arizona. The zone read scheme works very well. And you saw it in the second half of the Oregon game today. When they went to the zone read scheme, they were able to have more efficiency running the football and passing the football. And that's not to say that you can't run the pistol, because the pistol can be effective if you can run the pistol. But the problem is if your personnel and your execution is not allowing that to work, the scheme that you want to run, you have to switch it up. You saw what Chip Kelly did. The scheme that he wants to run wasn't working. He didn't have the dudes. What do you have to do? You have to switch it up. A big question that's been coming up from Duck fans is about Dylan Mitchell and Justin Herbert. Herbert is targeting Mitchell too much. Maybe they need to spread the ball around. Okay, look. Here's the truth. Is that the Ducks' second best wide receiver is suspended right now. I mean, that's just the truth. Brian Addison. And I think that Jalen Redd is going to be good, but he's young, and they're just not scheming guys open. And in the past game too, I tweeted this out, is that Oregon's taking a lot of sacks. And I know it's frustrating for people to see all these sacks. Here is my take on it. Is a lot of the sacks are coming from linebackers blitzing in. And linebackers blitz in under two circumstances. Number one, a called blitz. But the other thing is what they call a blitz engage. And a blitz engage is where the linebacker, if his man blocks, like let's say he has the running back man-to-man. If the running back stays in and blocks, he adds on and blitzes in. So now you can't block everybody. So how do you solve that? You solve that by running screens to your wide receivers and to your backs, because it slows the defense down, because they're like, hold up, I don't want to run past the screen. And the second way that you do it is that you free release your backs, because then somebody's got to take him. And if nobody takes him, your back is wide open, or you have somebody else running open down the field. Because in college, like your coaches scheme you open. No, Clay Helton cannot be fired. He will not be fired, even though he probably should be. In college, your coaches scheme you open. In the pros, dudes win. Like, that's why you need the Julio Joneses. That's why you need the Odell Beckham Juniors, because they have to win. In college, your coaches scheme you open. And if you have dudes, then that just makes it that much better. So Oregon has to stop defenses from blitzing them so much. Screen game. The screen game with the backs and the wide receivers. Next question. Why does Oregon run the same 3 plays over and over? It feels, I mean, at times it does feel like the lethal simplicity. I would like to see some more gap scheme plays, because we're running a whole lot of zone scheme. And I would like to see, because we're having trouble blocking guys. So what do you do when you're having trouble blocking? I said it last week. Down, down, around. Down, down, around. It gives blockers good angles to get blocks. Okay, I will get to USC and Helton in just a minute. Man, you guys are hot on Helton right now. Oh, and this week I will be posting my unafraidshow.com coaches test. The coaches test. Like, how and when can you fire a coach, and when do you know that it's time to fire a coach? And and about the Dylan Mitchell. Dylan Mitchell targeted so much, all of this stuff. Here's the thing, is that when you look at Dylan Mitchell's targets, 11 targets, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, 15.4 yards per target. Schooler, Verdell, Red, Dye, Breland, Jones, Tony Brooks, James, Johnson, 21 targets, 119 yards, and a touchdown. 5.66 yards per target. Dylan's just better. This is the truth. That's an area that the Ducks have to get better at, is the wide receiver position. Some guys are young, and it takes wide receivers a little bit longer to develop sometimes than other positions. That doesn't mean that they're not talented. That doesn't mean that Johnny Johnson's not going to be fine. That doesn't mean that Brian Addison's not going to be good once he gets back on the field. It just means that they're having some trouble adjusting to the offense, and they're playing so young that these things happen. And in the on defense, man, like, they're beat up in the linebacker position. They're beat up in the linebacker position, and that's causing them to just get absolutely destroyed in play action. They're getting destroyed in play action. Because if you notice, against Arizona, against Utah, even a little bit against UCLA, play action, like a run pass option, and then the linebackers bite up, because if you have your third string linebacker playing, there's a reason why he's your third string linebacker. He's not ready to play that much extended time yet. And then they pull it back, buzz it right by their ear. And Khalil Tate's not an outstanding passer by any means. He's not an NFL quarterback. Shelley is not even an NFL quarterback. But these schemes allow them to do that. And if you don't stop the run, then that's going to give you problems. And the other thing is, Oregon's defensive line standing up too much, catching blocks on run plays. Got to be physical. That's the difference. I think the team, like what it looks like to me is that the team is, they know that they're having trouble. So everybody's trying to do somebody else's job right now. And the good defenses are built on doing your job. Don't try to do anybody else's job, just your job. That's what good defenses are built on. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll get to you guys' questions now. If you guys have any more questions about the Ducks or anything else, I will get to them. I just sent in a question about, he said, Georgia, Notre Dame, Clemson have zero chance of beating Alabama. This is getting ridiculous. Did you see Alabama play today? Did you see Alabama play today? Their offense was not good. And Tua Tagovailoa may be hurt. Back-to-back weeks. Played defenses. He played a good defense in LSU. LSU has no offense. Played a good defense. Interception. This week, interception. Do you think that that's a coincidence? No. And their defense and their offense struggled today. So you know what that means? That means they face a defense like Michigan? Oh, you said they allowed 0 points. They actually did not allow 0 points because the officials screwed Mississippi State out of some points. Screwed them out. Next question. I'll get to your question about Oregon in a second, but let me get to the other one he said in a minute. Oh man, I lost it. He asked a question about Mario Cristobal. How do you fix it? So there's some things that Mario Cristobal is doing right. The team, way less penalties, which is obviously a great thing. Less penalties, you give yourself a better chance to win. And yes, and as you see, he's willing to do some trick plays, all of these things. But you don't necessarily need trick plays. You just have to be more inventive and creative in the offense. And obviously that leads to Marcus Arroyo. Everybody wants to know, is Marcus Arroyo, is he going to be fired, blah, blah, blah. Listen, he's a fantastic recruiter. But when you look at the results that are happening in the offense, because we live in a results now society, he's got to get results now. He does. Like, there's no two ways about it. You have to get results now. And the fact that, and you can't make excuses. Panay Sewell's hurt. This, that, like, you can't, like, there are no excuses. You got to figure out a way. Like, this is not, Oregon State. This is not Colorado. This is Oregon. Got to figure it out. Questions about Clay Helton. And if you, no matter where you guys are watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're watching, YouTube, send in your comments. I will get to them before I get off. Ask about Clay Helton. So I don't think Clay Helton is going to get fired simply because USC is in a difficult spot. They don't have a president right now because he had the scandal. He's out. Lynn Swan doesn't really want to fire a coach, even though that's the only way for him to establish his legacy as the athletic director. But the team is consistently underachieving. The players aren't developing. I mean, it's just bad. And when you lose to Cal at home, it's just not a good look, despite how good Cal is on defense. But the reality is Cal can't score points. And if you can't beat a team that only scores 15 points, there is a problem. There's an inherent problem that is just major. Like, there's an elephant in the room and he stinks. He just took a dump on the floor. See what other questions that we got. So how much better is Oregon next year, and what are Oregon's chances of Herbert staying? I think Oregon's chances of Herbert staying keep increasing every single game that this goes on. I mean, because of the, like, he feels almost like a caged bird to me. Like, he's not getting a chance to fly to flap his NFL wings right now. Not getting a chance to show all the things that he can do like he was able to do in the beginning of the season. So I think the likelihood of Herbert staying continues to grow every year. I mean, every game. And I do think that Oregon's going to be better because they're going to have more depth. They're going to have a big-time recruiting class. And I think that this team could compete. Maybe if the wide receivers step up and the defense continues to get better, is particularly at the cornerback position with like Graham, and you have Holland and some of the other guys get up better, they will be very, very competitive next year. But the biggest thing, you got to find a way to start faster, whether it's at home, on the road. It's just not it. It's just not it. If Herbert is a top 10 projected, no way he returns. You can't say that. Different kids have different priorities. Question about USC. USC is a historic top 5 program, and we're looking like a middle of the Pac-12 team. No. You're not looking like a middle of the road Pac-12 team. You are a middle of the road Pac-12 team. But here's the question that I got for you regarding USC. Is USC a team that people are going to be willing to leave their jobs for? Think about that. How many coaches are going to be willing to leave their jobs where they're at right now to come to USC? Think about that. Because Justin Wilcox, who's a great coach at Cal, winning with no defense, he's not leaving Cal to come to USC because of what happened to him there. But who else? Who's he going to get? Maybe maybe Matt Campbell from Iowa State. Maybe Jeff Brom from Purdue. Maybe. I guess those are your options. Yeah. So you guys, if you guys have any more questions, send them in to IMMAD, IMMAD @unafraidshow.com. I will make sure I get to them and I will answer them. Thank you guys for your time. Oh, and also I want to give a big shout out to all the first responders who have been protecting my home with the fires up against it. Thank you guys so much. I mean, it is a blessing, and praying for your families, all this. And yeah. So thanks. Peace out. Share the Unafraid Show with a friend. Tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. Leave a comment. Share it. All that. Peace out. Catch you guys later.